boy who never belonged. Sometimes, I think of taking my own life, not because I'm weak, not because I'm ungrateful, but because I'm tired. Tired of fighting battles I never chose. Tired of carrying a family I didn't break, but had to fix. I just hope one day I'll be free. Free like the others. I'm 25 now, but this story starts before I even took my first breath. My parents were already living far from their homeland, a place with strange streets, unfamiliar faces, and a language that rolled off tongues like water but sliced through me like glass. They called it the land of greener pastures. My parents called it hope. They came with nothing but dreams and 2 suitcases. My father is filled with tools for work. My mother's filled with clothes, spices, and the one family photo that had my grandparents in it. That photo, it's the only thing I have that shows all of us together. Growing up, those early years, they were golden. My father worked at a construction company, my mother took on cleaning jobs, and I just ran around a little 2-bedroom flat like I was king of the world. My grandparents had already passed before I was born, but my father told me stories about them as if they were still alive. We'd sit on the couch eating roasted peanuts, and he'd tell me, "One day you'll go back home and see where we all came from." And I believed him until I turned 8. That year, life didn't just change, it ripped itself apart. My father got sick, really sick, the kind of sick that doesn't give you time to prepare. The hospital visits became a routine. I learned the smell of disinfectant before I learned multiplication tables. One night my mother came home without him. No words, no explanations, just silent tears that hit the kitchen floor louder than any storm I've ever heard. That was the night I lost him. And without my father, the foundation of our family collapsed. After my father died, my mother tried to be everything at once. The provider, the nurturer, the protector, but the truth. She was also just a woman grieving her husband in a foreign land with no relatives to help her. My siblings, well, they didn't exactly make things easier. One by one, they fell into the world of drugs, pills, powders, needles, you name it, they tried it. The house that once smelled of peanut stew now smelled of smoke and despair. I was the youngest, and that meant I had the front row seat to all of it. The shouting matches, the slammed doors, the police visits. I used to hide in my room with my school books, pretending homework was more important than hearing my brother smashing a plate, because my mother refused to give him money, and outside our home, things weren't much better. I was the foreign kid in primary school, the one with the funny name teachers always mispronounced. Kids mocked my accent, pulled at my hair, and called me things I won't repeat here. Teachers didn't care. Some even laughed along. I learned early that in this country, I wasn't one of them, and I would never be. One day I overheard 2 classmates whispering about me. Why is he even here? His family probably came to steal our jobs. I was 10 years old. I didn't even know what stealing jobs meant, but it hurt. Without my father's income, poverty became our new roommate. The fridge often hummed while empty. My mother took extra shifts, but it was never enough. The siblings who could have helped didn't. Their world revolved around their next high. There was no inheritance, no land, no safety net. Just 4 walls we were barely holding on to. By the time I reached high school, I'd already stopped expecting kindness from people. Racism wasn't always loud. Sometimes it was in the way people looked at me like I didn't belong in the same room. Sometimes it was the way the shopkeeper followed me through every aisle like I was a thief. I tried to blend in. Wore the same sneakers the local kids wore, listened to the same music. But no matter what I did, I was still the foreigner. One day my mother asked, "Why can't my children have a life like other children here?" I laughed it off, but that laugh, it was hollow. I knew the answer. The idea started as a whisper in my head. Maybe I should go back home. Home, the place my father promised to take me but never could. The land where my grandparents were buried. The land I'd never actually set foot in. When I turned 25, I decided to go. I sold my old laptop, saved every cent I could, and bought a one-way ticket. My mother didn't try to stop me. Maybe she knew I needed this. The moment the plane landed, I felt something strange. Excitement, fear, both. But here's the twist. The home I'd romanticized all these years, it didn't exist anymore. The family house had long been sold. Most of my relatives had either passed away or moved. The people I met barely remembered my father, let alone me. I wasn't one of them either. I stayed with a distant cousin for a few weeks. The conversations were awkward. They asked questions I couldn't answer, laughed at the way I spoke the language, told me I sounded like a foreigner. One night I called my eldest brother, the one most deep in addiction. I told him what I'd found here, how I felt like I didn't belong anywhere. His voice cracked when he said, "You think I don't feel that too?" It was the first real conversation we'd had in years. But it didn't change the fact that we were strangers to each other now. I eventually went back to the foreign land. Not because it felt more like home, but because it was the only place I could build something for myself. I got a small apartment, found a job, started keeping my distance from the chaos of my siblings. I realized I couldn't fix them. I could barely fix myself. The racism didn't vanish. The loneliness didn't disappear, but I learned to carry them differently. Now, I look at my life and I see only my father, grandfather, and the generations before me, not the man I am in right now, but the truth they gave me, that even if you don't belong anywhere, you can still belong to yourself. I don't have a big house. I don't have the perfect family, but I have me, my own identity. And that's enough to keep going.